I'm make this little video because I have to really I don't even want. It's not that I don't want to. It's just that I'm kind of I'm operating on that low frequency energy, unfortunately, and that it's just been calling me for a while. This is long overdue, basically. But there's a lot of different opinions about what they call black people out there, which I'll tell them what they really are pretty soon here. But I've spent a lot of time doing homework, and I have a lot of knowledge. I've watched some of the more conscious people out there right now. Hieroglyphic communications is a good one. Um, what they call it, bro? Cell fluid or something. He's good. I like a lot of his information. He opened my eyes to a few things. I've listened to the old school stuff too. Which the brother Bobby Hemmets and whatnot. We really got to move on. Uh, we gotta let him realize on it. People like that old school conscious style movement. We gotta let them realize on their own that times are always changing, and you have to keep evolving. But the information they have is great from all these people. But the history has been how do I put this? It's been mixed up. It's been confused because when when you're not a person who is strictly the body, you don't tend to value history as much. You know what I mean? These humans, that's why they got their permanent names like China, that's not what those people call themselves. China is the name of a republic that rules over the people of that area. There's various little families in that area that all have their own names, like the Hmongs, the Laotians, and whatnot. And same with Africa, and the Europeans. A few of them, the more Slavic type ones. But the humans are the ones that keep their names in line. That's why over here on this side of the globe, we're always so discombobulated about our history. Well, I'm gonna start off by saying that what they call the black race is really a psionic people. They are psionic people, meaning that they are not a result of their physical feeling alone. So when they get caught up in thinking they are, they get confused. Now humans will say that they have what do you call it? All right, they think from the central nervous system. Well, the central nervous system is the center of your brain, and that's where they claim the pineal gland is. And the pineal gland holds melanin, which is your skin. All right, which is layered under your skin as well. It's not just what gives your skin color. People without dark skin color have melanin too. Melanin is not the particular ingredient that makes your skin dark, but they so when they say that they think from the central nervous system, they're essentially saying I'm a victim to feeling. You know what I mean? Like if I don't like the way that feels, I don't do it. If I like the way this feels, I'll go do that. And what somebody like Self Food is trying to say is that that's not how black people are meant to carry themselves or experience reality. You know what I mean? They experience it through continual evolution. And continual evolution is not about how you feel. It's not about feeling good or bad. You know what I mean? Like how would I put this? It's not that like somebody will say like the mind is the mind is like your actual thoughts themselves, and the brain is just the compartment holding it. Well, as the God race, it's not about going back to the mind, connecting to that field of empty consciousness. Right now, we're in a struggle to do that because that sea of consciousness, dark matter consciousness, our dark matter consciousness has been attacked for so long that it's nearly been destroyed. So right now we're in a struggle to do that. But what it's also about is building up that actual brain itself, building up that body itself, adding to the DNA. You know what I mean? Figuring out ways to make it. They say your brain can hold this much data, that much data. Well, why do they say that? What do we got to do to make it so our brain can do more, can hold more data? You know what I mean? God doesn't move in one direction. He's omnipotent and he's omnipresent. You know what I mean? So we're going to dominate the dark matter field of consciousness as well as this physical reality. And any other realities you bump into. That's just what we do. That's just what we do. But you gotta remember, like, you're a psionic race, all right? Psionic means that you're doing things based off thought and not feeling, all right? So when we engage in certain activities, even though they may seem positive, because one thing they love to do is feed us an activity that makes us think that we enjoy because we view it as positive, but some of this information, a lot of people in what they call the Black consciousness community are really they're agents. But we like the information they're giving us because it makes us feel good. You know what I mean? So when you don't have a history and you're confused into thinking you're human and you define yourself by your history, then you're gonna latch onto information like that because you're curious to find out who you are. But no matter what title they put on you, that can't be who you are because a God's always evolving. He can't stay latched onto a title. You know what I mean? A lot of you don't realize it, but what you really are, black people, like right here, like I said, you're really a psionic race. But here in this context, who you are in this country is not black people. You're actually Native Americans. You know what I mean? And if you would study the language you made up, the hieroglyphics, what do they call it? The T in the word native, that as well as a T with a circle around it, any type of cross is that's what you call a mark of Tau. You know what I mean? Or the mark of Cain, aka. And we don't pronounce it. It's kind of like a comma. It's our punctuation system basically. So really, when you're saying Native American, you're saying naive American because you're very naive for not realizing that you were the first ones here. You know what I mean? And the history's been twisted a lot. Like I say, the nations of the world came together to take out the gods. That's a lot of what Self-Fluid's talking about when he's saying it's the entire human race working against you. It ain't white people. You know what I mean? And in fact, if I told you guys the real history, a lot of you black people the real history, you'd probably feel really bad about it, and you wouldn't realize how little of a role white people have played in what had happened to you. To be honest with y'all, Africans have really done you worse than them. You know what I mean? And I don't care if you feel uncomfortable about that because you consider yourself an African. You're not an African. You have very little to do with Africa, actually, in your history. If you feel uncomfortable about that, I don't know what to say, but that's the truth. White people, if I was to point at them out, what they have to do with this, they kind of just swooped in at the end and like pulled a quick one over everybody. They pulled the sheet up, the shirt up over everybody's eyes so they couldn't see real quick at the end and swooped in and kind of took power in America. But a lot of what they're talking about in slavery happening, when you were being abused, that was actually by Africans. Europe was a place that North Africans heavily started to dominate through the black nobility. You know what I mean? So when they're saying the Europeans were here, yeah, there was a lot of white people involved in that, but there was also a lot of leadership in Europe and stuff that were that were Africans, that were actually in charge of making a lot of those calls for your people to be hurt. You know what I mean? And you were hurt collectively by multiple people. You know what I mean? And there was actually Africans even before then, before the quote unquote European, Africans here in America pretending like they were you know what I mean, on that level of particular consciousness. And I got a lot of love for the people out there who say, they who say who have that African pride and stuff, but and if they want to go help Africa, that's understandable because Africa's in a position, but we can't let our reality be defined by Africa, and this whole thing about African American is a bunch of BS, because African American what defines those things, a lot of it is, part of it is your DNA, you know what I mean, and there's a difference between the way the African thinks and the way the American thinks. The problem with the American right now is that, again, he's the native or the naive American, and he's not thinking in his right state of mind. You know what I mean? In his proper state of mind, in his right state of mind. So, when you start deciphering these things and quit looking at all white people as, white and all Asian people are just Chinese and, and all dark-skinned people are Africans, when you start really deciphering what's going on under the hood, you can see you can see that it's a collective effort by many people, to infiltrate our communities and confuse us about our true identity as not human, but again, psionic beings of pure thought. The original man. What they say about the original man? He willed himself into existence. He thought himself into existence. There was no goddamn evolution or nothing. You know what I mean? He willed himself in as a blueprint, and then he added animal DNA to himself it was a form of science. He was experimenting with things here on Earth, and became these various human races. But like I say, you're the original man, and you're from the psionic realm. You're a psionic being. You willed yourself into existence with thought. Remember that. I'll make some more videos here soon, and I'm gonna touch up on me this being long overdue, me missing vibrations on purpose, and basically having 2-hour long conversations in my head and doing absolutely nothing to put the information out there. But I'll catch y'all later.